Success is hard until you build this system. And no, I'm not speaking about your morning routine or your productivity planner. I'm speaking about the system in your brain. This is the system that controls what you notice, what you believe is possible for yourself, and whether you take action at all. Because if this system in your brain isn't wired for success first, no external system will save you. Welcome everyone, I'm Kayla, and in this video I'm going to break down how your struggle is a perception your brain creates and the neurological system responsible, and how to rewire it so growth, opportunity, and success feel far more accessible and within your reach, so you can start living your dream reality today. The problem isn't that success is hard, it's that your brain and nervous system are trained to experience it that way. When you repeatedly think a thought again and again, it eventually solidifies into a belief, and a belief tells your brain how the world works. So if you repeatedly tell yourself that success is so difficult and it requires self-sacrifice and it means I can't go out on weekends, your brain doesn't debate that. It accepts it as a rule. And through repetition, those ideas hardwire into new neural pathways in your brain. Your brain's job isn't to show you the truth of reality. Its job is to show you what's familiar and consistent with existing beliefs. Once a belief is formed, your brain actively filters reality to confirm it. That's why you can be surrounded by new alternative ways of working towards success and completely miss them. Not because they don't exist, but because your brain has flagged them as irrelevant. And the system responsible for this is the Reticular Activating System, or RAS. Your brain is receiving millions of bits of information at every second, far too much for you to consciously process. So the RAS acts as a gatekeeper or relevance filter. It decides what you notice, what gets ignored, and what feels important enough to act on. It filters information based on existing beliefs about yourself and the world, current goals, emotional relevance, and perceived safety or threats. There's a 1999 study that shows the RAS in action pretty well. It's called the Invisible Gorilla Experiment, and I'll put a link for that below so that you can check it out. Participants were asked to count basketball passes made by people wearing white shirts while ignoring those in black shirts. And about halfway through, a person in a gorilla suit walked across the scene, and guess what? Most people completely missed it, even though it was obvious. Why? It's because their attention was so focused on something else. Their brain filtered reality to match the task it deemed important. Basically, this study concluded that we can become blind to other, even dramatic stimuli in our visual field when our attention is tightly focused on one task. A classic example from real life: say you decide you want to buy a red Jeep Wrangler. Suddenly, you'll start noticing Jeep Wranglers everywhere, on the TV, on the road when you're driving. And it's not because the Jeep Wranglers, the red Jeep Wranglers, were never there. They were always there. Reality didn't change, just your filter did. Your RAS in your brain filtered reality to pay attention to it and to ignore everything else around it. That's exactly how beliefs like success is hard works. Your brain is going to scan your environment for evidence that affirms that belief. So your brain will start to highlight obstacles, setbacks, stress, struggles, and totally miss anything that could provide you ease, help, relief, shortcuts, and even small wins. As I said earlier, an easier alternative path could be right in front of you, and your brain will literally not register it as an option. And it's not because you're blind, it's because your brain looks at it and thinks, this can't be how it works, it's not important, I don't need to place my attention on it. This is why your beliefs and self-concept are so important, because the RAS filters reality to highlight evidence that confirms what you believe and to downplay anything that contradicts it, as well as search for further proof that further reinforces the belief that you already have. This is how people get locked into a reality they don't actually want, and it's also how they get out, because luckily the RAS is trainable. The RAS responds most strongly to repetition, identity relevance, emotional intensity, and action-linked feedback. I'm going to give you 4 steps that you can take today to start retraining the RAS to filter for success. Quick story of the RAS in action in my own life. In September of 2024, I had an amazing emotionally charged experience in Bali. I went there for a business workshop. I wanted to learn how to take my business online and start making money from it. But at that time, my self-belief wasn't the greatest. Regardless, it left a strong enough of an impression for me to start taking action back home, because I got clarity on what I value most, and that was freedom and being able to travel and work from anywhere in the world. The steps to make this happen weren't clear initially, but as I started getting clearer and clearer on the person that I want to be, which is someone who runs a business online, who travels the world, everything started to fall in place. I started training my reticular activating system to notice opportunities that were in alignment with that identity. So the identity relevance was definitely there. And of course, the experience was super emotionally charged for me. I got a taste of what life could be like and ultimately my potential. And that probed me to take action. And all it takes is a single step first. Taking one step and then taking another step started to convince my RAS that what I'm thinking is possible for myself is actually possible, because evidence in my environment is starting to show it. A conundrum I faced was how to reach people all over the world. And suddenly on YouTube, I started getting recommended videos on how people were living the digital nomad life, location freedom life by taking their businesses online but marketing themselves on YouTube. And the funny thing is, had I not adopted the identity of someone who wants to live that life, and had I not attached the emotions necessary to embody that identity, I would have missed those videos. The past version of me would have totally skimmed past it. But because it was at the forefront of my mind and I started securing that belief, the RAS started filtering my reality to match it. Something I also did to help this process along is I curated a playlist that contains all the music I listened to when I had this experience in Bali. And every time I listen to this music, it honestly takes me to that time, and I feel all the feelings that are necessary to create the life that I desire. I felt freedom when I was in Bali. I felt in love with life when I was in Bali. I felt like I was making an impact on the people that I was having conversations with. Affirmations weren't enough for me at the time. Music just served as that bridge to connecting myself with the emotions that I was struggling to feel from affirmations alone. And that's because music bypasses the language centers in the brain. It speaks directly to the regions of the brain that are responsible for emotion and memory. That's what was needed for me to redirect my focus. I felt the feeling of freedom listening to Viva La Vida by Coldplay. And it reminded me of my future memory. I started painting scenes in my head of my return to Bali and the beautiful life that I'm gonna have when I get there. Okay, so here are 4 steps that you can take today to start training your RAS. Step 1, if you want success to feel easy, you need to start noticing moments and evidence of ease in your life already. So I encourage you to, at the end of each day, write down 3 small wins. Anything where things worked out better than expected, or where you felt a little bit lighter. An example of this in my own life is the second video I posted on YouTube went ridiculously smooth. a lot better than I expected. I filmed it entirely impromptu. I really sat and absorbed that feeling of calm and ease. And then when it came time to editing that video, that process was very smooth and easy, and I sat and I embraced the feeling of ease once again. Essentially, I was training my RAS to notice a pattern of ease. So the more you point out ease in your life, the more you train your RAS to look for it automatically. Step 2, look for proof it can happen. If you're struggling to find moments of ease in your life, then actively search for proof where success doesn't have to be hard. So ask yourself, where could this be easier for me? Something I love to do, my personal favorite, is asking who is doing this without struggle and how. Go and Google it. Even just seeing someone else succeeding without burning out or procrastinating is enough to convince your brain. That way it will start scanning for these opportunities. It's like flipping a switch from seeing friction to seeing possibility. Step 3, take small actions that assume success is easy. This step is behavior based. The brain learns from experience, not just thinking. So take one small action that assumes ease, that working towards success is easy. This can look like asking for help instead of doing it alone. It can look like taking shortcuts. Again, research how other people are doing it, and also see where you can avoid unnecessary efforts. But do this consistently so you can train your brain to see the pattern. We want your RAS to say, oh, success is easy and it flows to me. This is safe and I can definitely do it. And over time, through consistency, the old belief that success is hard will begin to fade. I was terrified to start a YouTube channel, and I put it off for a good chunk of time. And the funny thing is, I found the moment I took action, the first one being just getting comfortable with speaking in front of the camera. I just filmed myself and spoke about something random, and I was successful in doing that, in the sense that I eased myself into it and I was convincing myself that this isn't as challenging. And then after that, I took the action of actually speaking about a meaningful topic, and when I was done doing that, I realized, wow, this isn't as bad as what I thought it was. And now I am here. I've started the channel. Step 4, multiply ease outside of your work towards success. You need to feed your brain more of the feeling of ease and regulation outside of the steps you're taking towards your dreams. So start by doing more of the things in your life that make you feel calm and bring about joy. And for me, that's exercising in nature, making time to write my poetry, going for delicious brunch dates with my friends. The brain notices and remembers emotion. So the more you experience ease in your life, the more you train your RAS to start noticing it in your work and goals. You're basically teaching your brain and RAS to pay attention to ease. You're telling it, ease matters and is important to me. I want more of it. And so your brain or RAS starts to filter your reality for opportunities that will bring about more ease in your life. If you do these consistently, your brain will start filtering reality differently, where you start to experience success as easy instead of hard. And a great place to start with all of this and activating your RAS too is to start embodying the identity of someone who does view success as easy. I've put together a free workbook, the Next Level Self Activation. There's a link below where you can access it, and you can start learning how to become that person today. I want you to enjoy the process of becoming successful because you deserve it. You deserve to have it feel amazing in your body. Happiness isn't the destination, it's the path. You've got to feel that now. And the moment you apply all of these things that I spoke about, you're going to start experiencing your path towards success in a much different way. In fact, you're going to feel successful now. when you do it. You're going to start noticing important conversations, important people, steps that you would have otherwise missed that will get you to where you need to be. You deserve everything that your heart desires. You deserve the success that you seek. And I promise you, this is the most important step and system that you need to work with and put into place before everything else starts to unfold favorably for you. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'm wishing you nothing but the best in your pursuits.